Okay, so in the last class we discussed about the applications of radar range equation, a simple form of radar range equations, and also the basic form of the block diagram of the radar. Okay, so now we'll do some problem based on this some of the parameters which used in the radar equation and also the terms which is used in the radar. So take this problem. So what should be the pulse repetition frequency of the radar in order to achieve a maximum unambiguous range of 60 nautical miles? So you need to find out the pulse repetition frequency in order to get this maximum unambiguous range. So, and second one, how long does it take the radar signal to travel out and back when the target is at the maximum unambiguous range? Okay. Hello, is the screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
But here some problem is there. Just a minute. Okay. So in order to get the target, if the target is at the maximum unambiguous range, now what is the time it will take the radar signal to travel to the target and reach out back to the whatever the receiver? Okay, so that you need to find it out. And if the radar has a pulse width of 1.5 microsecond, so what is the extent of pulse energy in space in range coordinates? Okay, so you need to find out the range for this pulse width of 1.5 microsecond. And how far apart in range, so you have to find out the what is the distance must two equal size targets to be separated in order to certain they are completely resolved by a pulse width of 1.5 microsecond. So if you transmit the pulse width of 1.5 microsecond, so in order to completely resolve, or if you want to detect both the targets, how far those two targets should be separated? Okay, so, and if the radar has peak power of 800 kilowatt, what is the average power and what is the duty cycle of this radar? So now we need to find out each one by one. So now what should be the pulse repetition frequency of radar in order to achieve maximum unambiguous range 60 nautical mile? Okay. So for this we have known already the equation. So which is given by R unambiguous range, which is equal to C by 2 into FP. Okay, so that we have I think in the previous slide it is having. Yeah, so here, okay, this is a range with respect to the round trip time, and if you have the range in pulse repetition frequency, yeah, so this is the unambiguous range, so C by 2 FP. So take this and try to find out what is the pulse repetition frequency. Okay, so what is the problem which is given? So what should be the pulse repetition frequency? Okay, so what is your FP if your R, the unambiguous range, which is R unambiguous range, which is at 60 nautical mile? Okay, so this is you will given 60 nautical mile. So now what is the pulse repetition frequency? C by 2 into FP. Okay, so now you want to find out FP, so this will be given by 2 into, that is C by 2 into R unambiguous range. So first you convert this one into meters. Okay, so if you convert this into meters, then you will come to, so know what is the pulse repetition frequency. So now we know in terms of nautical mile, so what is 1 nautical mile, which is equal to 1.852 kilometers. Okay, or you can write it as 1.852 into 10 power 3 meters. Okay, so now 60 nautical miles, so which will give 60 into this much, so 1.852 to 10 power 3 meters. So now if I substitute this one, so you will get this one as 3 into 10 power 8, so this divided by 2 into 60 into 1.852 into 10 power 3. So now what is the frequency? Calculate and tell me. So this will 3 ones are 3 to the 20, so 1 over 40, that is 10 power 8 by 40 into 1.852 into 10 power 3. Okay, so what is the FP? Hello, anybody calculated?
1.34 kilohertz.
Okay, 1.34 kilohertz. Okay, so this is the FP which is calculated. So now find out the corresponding pulse repetition period. Okay, so that is TP. So TP, you know, so it is the inverse of FP. So this will be useful in further calculations. You just find it out what is TP. So 1 over 3.1.34 kilohertz. So in terms of milliseconds, how much it will come? So write it. How much it is?
0.74 millisecond.
Okay, so this is 0.74 milliseconds. So the pulse repetition period. So now this is the first question which we answered. Okay, so what should be the pulse repetition frequency which we have achieved to in order to achieve the maximum unambiguous range of 60 nautical mile. Now how long does it take for the radar signal to travel out and back when the target is at maximum unambiguous range? That means, so this whatever the target is there, say for example if you have a transmitter here, okay, so if you have a transmitter here and there is a target, okay, so how much time it will take to travel and get back, so travel to the target and get back. So now we found out the pulse repetition frequency, because the pulse once it is going and again the next pulse when it is going, at the before occurring the next pulse to go, this will the return signal will come back. So that's why, so the pulse repetition period it is 0.74 millisecond. So once the pulse is going, so this is one time the pulse repetition period it will take, and whenever it reflect back, so it will take another the same time which is going to have the pulse repetition period. So that's why, so how does long it will take? So it will take 2 times of the pulse repetition period. Okay, so this is the answer for second one, that is how long does it take for the radar signal to travel out and back when the target is at maximum unambiguous range. Because so we have found out the pulse repetition period whenever the target is at maximum unambiguous range. So whenever it is traveling one time and again repeat reflect back, so that will be 2 times of your pulse repetition period. So now see, if the radar has a pulse width of 1.5 microsecond, what is the extent of pulse energy in space, okay, in range coordinates? So now we need to find out the what is pulse energy. So in order to find out pulse energy, so what is the transmitted power we need to know. Okay, so if you have the transmitted power which is known, then we can able to find out what is the energy, pulse energy. So the pulse energy which is given by, okay, so the pulse energy, so we can calculate by using this equation, that is the transmitted power and the whatever the pulse width which is given. Okay, so if you know the transmitted power, then you can able to find it out what is the pulse energy. Okay, so here there is no transmitted power which is given, so just you write it as the equation which is given by this one. the pulse energy which we can calculate by using this transmitted power into the pulse width. Or you can take here, if it is in the next question, if it is given the radar has a peak power of 800 kilowatts, so if this is a transmitted power, if we want to take, so then you can substitute that transmitted power here 800 kilowatt and pulse width of 1.5 microsecond, then we can able to get it the what is the pulse energy. Okay, so that you can calculate what is the pulse energy. Then so calculate it. So by assuming this transmitted power which is having 800 kilowatt, so calculate the pulse energy, how much it will come. So which is 800 kilowatt into 1.5 microsecond. So is it 1.5 microsecond? Yeah. So calculate it, how much it will come. It is 1. So 800 into 10 power 3 into 1.5. So 15 to the 120, 1200 into 10 power 3. So is it correct? So 1.2 into 10 power 6. Is it right calculation? Hello, anybody who got?
Sir, only 1.2.
Yeah, so this is microsecond, so 10 power minus 6. Okay, so this 10 power minus 6 it will get cancelled, so this will be 1.2. So energy, so which is equal to 1.2 joules. Okay, so now next we need to find it out. So how far apart in range must two equal size targets be separated in order to be certain they are completely resolved by a pulse width of 1.5 microsecond. So now if we have a pulse energy of 1.5 microsecond, so now how much range it should be separated so that the two targets can be able to detect or resolve. Okay, so that will be given by, so we can calculate by using this one. So how much the distance separation, that will be given by C into TR by 2. So this will be the pulse, whatever the pulse width which is given, or we can write it as C tau by 2 also. Okay, so this is a repetition period, or we can take the pulse energy which is C tau by 2. So that will be given it as, so the range which we can separate the two targets, so that we can able to detect both the targets. So if you substitute this one, so you will get the range in which the two targets can be separated or resolved. So this will be 1.5 micro, so this divided by 2. So how much?
225 meter.
Yeah, 225 meters. So if you separate the targets by 225 meter, then both the targets can be resolved. Okay, so then if the radar has peak power 800 kilowatt, what is the average power? So this is direct so question. So you have equation for average power, that is P average equal to, so the transmitted power into pulse width, so this divided by the pulse repetition period. So you can directly put it the values and you can calculate. So 800 kilo into 1.5 micro, so this divided by, so that we have find out the TP value, that is 0.74 millisecond. Okay, so what is the average power? What is the average power?
1.62 kilowatt.
Okay, so 1.62 kilowatt. This is the average power. And duty cycle, how we will find out? So the duty cycle of the radar, So that we can find out by taking the pulse width divided by the pulse repetition period. So this will be the duty cycle. So this is 1.5 microsecond divided by, sorry, micro. So this divided by TP, how much? 0.74 millisecond. So find out the duty cycle. So how much? How much duty cycle?
2.02 milli.
2.02 milli. Okay, so this is the duty cycle of the radar. Okay, so that is what we need to find out in the first problem. So next, take one second one. A ground based air surveillance radar operates at frequency of 1300 megahertz. It is in the L band. Its maximum range is 200 nautical mile for the detection of target with radar cross section of 1 square meter. Okay, so radar cross section it is given, it is 1 meter square, and its antenna is 12 meter wide by 4 meter height. So it is the dimension of the antenna it is given, and the antenna aperture efficiency, so it is given by 0.65, and the receiver, the minimum detectable signal at the receiver, which is given by 10 power minus 13 watt. So now we need to determine by using this following. So whatever by using these parameters. So first one, antenna effective aperture AE in square meters and antenna gain. So first we need to find out what is the effective aperture and antenna gain. So how to find out the effective aperture? So you might have studied in antenna course. How you will find out the effective aperture? Which is the aperture efficiency, okay, into physical size of the antenna. Okay, antenna physical aperture. Is it not? So now aperture efficiency which is given. So what is aperture efficiency? Which is 0.65. Now we need to find out the physical aperture. So that is which is given by the 12 meter by 4 meter. Okay. So that you need to substitute. So it is 0.65 aperture efficiency and physical aperture. So you need to find it out by, so substituting this 12 meter by 4 meter. Okay. So this is the width and height it is given in this one, that is 12 meter wide by 4 meter height. So substitute, so this physical aperture, so you will get it in terms of the physical aperture of the antenna, and you will get the what is the effective aperture. So what is the value? The effective aperture,
31.2 square meter.
okay, 31.2 meter square. Okay, so this is the effective aperture. So now by using the effective aperture, you know the gain, how we can calculate. So gain equal to, so you know the equation 4 pi AE by lambda square. So now lambda you have to find out at the 1300 megahertz, which is given by 3 into 10 power 8 divided by 1300 into 10 power 6. So find out lambda and substitute here. You know AE, the 31.2 meter square. Now find out the gain. Okay, so now gain in dB we need to find out by using whatever the value we'll get. So 10 log of that G value. So this will give in terms of dB. So calculate it and tell me what is the value of lambda G.
Lambda is 230.76 millimeter.
So 230 point
0.76.
millimeter.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the gain?
Gain in dB is 38.6 dB.
38.6 dB. So what is the gain absolute value?
7.36 into 10 power 3.
Okay. Okay. So this is the first question which we need to find out. So now find out the peak transmitter power. So how to find out peak transmitter power? So we know the equation for the, is it given any average power, so that we can able to find out the peak transmitter power, or we can use the radar range equation. So in order to find out the transmitter power, so you can see the radar equation, what all the parameters are there. So by using that also we can able to find out the transmitter power. So now we know the maximum unambiguous range, minimum detectable signal which is given, and the gain of the antenna which is given, lambda we know, sigma we know, all these things we know. So now we can able to find out what is the transmitter power, is it not? So now we know the equation for radar equation, which is R unambiguous, that is maximum unambiguous range or maximum range we can able to uh, get from the target. So that will be given by Pt into G AE sigma. So this divided by 4 pi square into the minimum detectable signal whole power 1 by 4, right? So now we need to find out what is the transmitter power. So now what are all the parameters which is given? So you can see here the gain which we have calculated, lambda we know, sigma it is given, and unambiguous, that maximum range it is given 200 nautical mile. So on minimum detectable signal which is given 10 power minus 13. Substitute all these things, so we will get it. So S minimum we know 10 power minus 13, this we know 1 meter square, and effective aperture we have find out 31.2 meter square, and gain, so you substitute in absolute value, that is 7 point whatever we got, okay, 7 point something, 7.36 into 10 power 3 or something we got now. So that you put it gain. Now find out, and this one is 200 nautical mile, convert this one into meter, okay. So in terms of meter, so you will get 200 into 1.852 into 10 power 3. So this you put and find out the transmitter power. So tell me the transmitter power.
One point two nine megawatt.
1.29
29.
megawatt. Okay, check it once. Any other answer it is coming? Anybody have calculated? Same it is coming? Okay. So this is the transmitter power. So now average power, calculate the average power, which is Pt into tau divided by Tp. So now how we can find the Tp value? So you know the maximum unambiguous range, that will be given by C by 2 into Fp. So find out Fp, then find out what is Tp, okay. So now that is a peak transmitter power. Now see the pulse repetition frequency to achieve a maximum unambiguous range of 200 nautical mile. So that's what the this question. So what is Fp you find out, and what is Tp you find out. What is Fp? Have you calculated?
404.96 hertz.
404.96
96 hertz.
Okay. So again 1 hour of this, it will give the pulse repetition period?
2.46 millisecond.
Okay, so this is about the pulse repetition frequency and period for the achieving maximum unambiguous range of 200 nautical mile. Now average transmitter power if the pulse width is 2 microsecond. So now we know tau is given, which is 2 microsecond, and TP which is known, and transmitter power we have calculated. Now find out the average power. So find out the average power that we know by using this. We have find out the transmitter power and average power. So we need to find it out by using this tau which is known 2 microsecond, TP which is known the pulse repetition period.
1.048 kilowatt.
Okay, 1.048 kilowatt. The average power, okay, so this is the average power, and duty cycle tau by TP, so that you need to find it out. So duty cycle, so which is 2 microsecond divided by 2.46 millisecond. How much it is? The duty cycle
1.55 picofarads.
1.55. So how it will come? So this is 2 by 2.4 means it should be less than 1, right?
813 microseconds.
813, sir.
813 microsecond. Okay, this is okay. So okay, so now last one, horizontal beam width. So how to find out horizontal beam width? So you know the equation for the gain, right? So which is equal to the efficiency and directivity, you know. So the gain equal to efficiency, that radiation efficiency, okay, into directivity. Okay, so assuming the radiation efficiency is 100%, so then your gain will be equal to directivity. Okay, so then you know the directivity equation in terms of half power beam widths. Okay, that is in the horizontal plane and vertical plane, phi into theta. Okay, so that you know half power beam widths in horizontal and vertical planes, or azimuthal and elevation planes. So now we need to find out so horizontal beam width. So how we can find out this horizontal beam width? So assuming both the half power beam widths are equal, so in both the planes, so we can take it as this, either theta square or phi square. Okay, I'll take it as theta square half power beam width, and this one is approximated, so which is 41,000. So the equation, so now we can find out, so you find out the directivity in terms of absolute value, so which we have find out from the gain. Okay, whatever 7.3 something into 10 power 3 something it is coming, so substitute here and you will get theta square hp. Okay, so then if you divide it by, that is taking the square root of that, you will come to know the degree, that is half power beam width in degrees. Okay, so how much you find out? So substitute the absolute value of the directivity and you will find out what is theta hp. How much? So this will give theta hp, which is equal to So substitute just by 41,000 by 7.36 into 10 power 3. How much you will get? Square root you take. That's it.
2.36.
2.36. Okay. So this is the horizontal beam width of the antenna which is used. Okay. So even you can take approximate. Some books they will use 41,000, some books they will use 40,000 because of the reduction in the side lobe power they will not consider. Okay, so exact formula it is 41,253 something it is there. So approximated. So even some they will take 40,000, some they will take 41,000. Okay, so this is the beam width. Okay, so this is about the problem which is second one. So take one more problem. What is the peak power of radar whose average transmitter power is 200 watt? The pulse width is 1 microsecond and pulse repetition frequency 100 hertz. Now we need to find out the peak power. So this equation you already know. So this average power it is given T and TP which is given. We need to find out the transmitter power. So transmitter power, now average power which is given 200 watt. Okay, pulse width 1 microsecond and pulse repetition frequency FP which is given, which is 1000 hertz. So now P average we know PT into tau by TP. Okay, so now TP you calculate from this, it will come 1 millisecond, that is 1 over 1000 1 millisecond it will come. So now transmitter power or peak power which is given by P average into TP divided by tau. How much it is coming?
Two 200 kilowatt.
Okay, 200 kilowatt. So transmitter power 200 kilowatt. So now what is the range of this ground based air surveillance radar? If it has to detect a target with radar cross section of 2 meters square when it operates at a frequency of 2.9 gigahertz with a rectangular shaped antenna that is 5 meter wide, 2 meter height, antenna aperture efficiency 0.6 and minimum detectable signal 10 power minus 12 watt. So based on PT in radar equation being the peak power. Okay, so transmitter power we have find out and all other parameters which is given. Now find out the what is the range or maximum range. So that is equal to PT G square and then AE or sigma. So this divided by 4 pi square into S minimum whole power 1 by 4. Find it out. So what is the range? So this is the same equation you can use either. So here it is G now. So if you substitute then it will become G square. So this is G. Okay, so find it out. So for AE you need to find it out by using aperture efficiency into AP. So that will be equal to 0.6 into 5 meter into 2.7. So this is your AE and sigma which is given directly which is 2 meter square and 10 power minus 12 which is given by the minimum detectable signal. Transmitter power we have find out, and the gain we need to find it out by using this AE itself. So gain equal to 4 pi AE by lambda square. So lambda, so find it out by using this frequency equation, that is lambda equal to C by F. So what is the R max? First you need to find out in terms of the kilometer, then you convert it to nautical miles. So what is the maximum range? Hello, Arshita, calculated? Manasa?
Sir, doing, sir.
118.19 kilometer.
One, how much?
118.19.
118.19 kilometer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Check it once. Is the answer is correct?
Yes, sir. I got same answer.
Okay. How much gain it is coming? 4 pi AE by lambda, sorry, AE by lambda square.
9.511 into 10 power 3.
Okay. 9.11 into 10 power 3.
9.511.
511. Okay. Okay, what is AE?
8.1 square meter.
Okay, 8.1 meter square. This is fine. So now if you substitute 8.1, and what is lambda? 0.3 gigahertz divided by 2.9 gigahertz.
103.4 mm.
103. Okay, anyhow lambda is not required in the equation, so the gain is required. So here gain, for gain equation it is required. Okay, so now in nautical mile, so take the equation 1 nautical mile equal to 1.852 kilometer. So now we need to calculate for 118.19 kilometer. So how much? So that you take it as x. So 1 into 118.19 divided by 1.852. How much? So this range in nautical miles.
63.8.
63.8 nautical mile. Okay. Okay, so now sketch the received echo signal power as a function of range from 10 to 80 nautical mile. Okay, so now first we need to sketch the received echo signal. So we have received the minimum detectable signal as 10 power minus 12 watt, right? So now this is the power, whatever y-axis will represent the power, this minimum signal detectable power, and this we can take it as range in nautical miles. Okay, so if you take 10, 20, 30, 40 up to 50.
The screen is not checked.
Okay, so now we have minimum detectable signal 10 power minus 12 watt, right? So we achieved the maximum unambiguous range in nautical miles as 63.8 nautical mile. Okay, so now till this value you will get this minimum signal. Okay, so if you go beyond that, okay, so you cannot able to detect the signal. So that's why 63.8 somewhere here. So till that value you'll be having the minimum detectable signal power as 10 power minus 12. Okay, so beyond that it will become 0 because we cannot able to detect the signal beyond this range. So that's why this will become 0, the signal power will become 0 beyond this range. So till this range we will be having a signal power which is having 10 power minus 12. So this is what we need to sketch it. Okay, is it understood? Okay, so any doubt in these problems? Okay, so we'll continue the other, what are all the other parameters which are not mentioned in the radar equation, and how to incorporate those parameters to find exact radar range. Okay, so this is simple form of radar equation, and we will see in the next class how the other parameters which will affect it, and how to find out those parameters and include in the radar equation. Okay. Okay, so you can exit. So I will take possibly tomorrow evening whatever we missed yesterday's class, so that is because of the workshop. Okay, so I will inform, so when, what is the timing tomorrow. Okay, we'll continue in the next class.